Hi everyone, welcome to the Rangers review team match, immediate, I don't know what we call it, Chris, briefing, reacting to the teams. Chris, Jack and I here at Ibrox ahead of Rangers against Livingston in the Scottish Premiership. We're going to pull the team up, have a look at that, talk through the big talking points as we always do. So the Rangers team, as you can see on your screen, is as follows. Jack Butland is in goals, a back four of James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, Leon Balogun and Borna Barisic. Ryan Jack comes in for his first start in a while, I think it's fair to say, alongside John Lundstrom. Ross McCausland, Todd Cantwell and Rabbi Matondo will support Fabio Silva up top. Those who are eagle-eyed might have seen that on Twitter yesterday because I think it was in the training video Clement speaking to that 11. So Chris, immediate reactions to that, 4 changes to the team that they played a week ago. Now, you might think, well, why is Clement rotating? Because Rangers have had a whole week in between, but he spoke yesterday at his press conference about the sprint of the next 6 weeks, where Rangers, I think, only have 1 free midweek after this last one, and the fact that he wants to start giving match minutes to people who are returning from injury, like Ryan Jack, like to a degree Borna Barisic, I guess, as well, and trying to get people up to speed. So no major surprises, and I guess the big talking point is Jack back in and Fabio Silva making only a second start in the league for Rangers.
As you say, Josh, I think that rotation shouldn't really come as a surprise. Between now and the next international break, Rangers have a lot of games. There's a lot of pressure on these games as well. So I think it's only natural that the manager doesn't want to just stick with 11. He has to use the squad. He does have more options at his disposal now. The bench looks a lot healthier and stuff than it has done at previous times this season, which is good to see. So hopefully there's I think he can use games like today. There's also pressure on Rangers to win it, huge expectation on them to win it. It should be, fingers crossed, touch wood and all the rest of it, fairly straightforward. And it seems like a good afternoon to bring Barisic back in, give him a game, bring Ryan Jack back in. I think it's a big afternoon for Silva, but really nice to see him get a goal, see him get off and running.
Yeah.
And again, it looks like a good afternoon for that Tuesday night against Aberdeen. If he can get a goal and a good performance today, it probably puts him in the team for Tuesday night, and hopefully that's him then off and running. So it's maybe not an 11 that a lot of people would have picked. Certainly that Jack Lundstrom midfield too. That's one over time people have been somewhat disappointed by. But I think there's certainly a method behind the selection today.
Yeah, I'll read the bench out as well. It's Robbie McCrory, Ridvan Yilmaz, John Suter, Cyril Dessers, Tom Lawrence, Oscar Cortez, Scott Wright, Leon King and Nico Raskin. The Livingston team, before we forget George, Don Elan, I think it's pronounced, David Carson, who just joined, I think, from Inverness towards the end of the window, Obalai, Pittman, Brandon, Holt, Nubley, Sangare, Shinnie and Penrice. Or is it Penrice? Penrice, terrible. Livingston are not on a good way. They're not on a good run of form. Obviously, I think Rangers have a good record against them. As you say, Chris, a game like this in particular, the expectation is that Rangers will win and win well with 4 home games coming up. Let's start with Borna Barisic. I think it's his first start since the League Cup final. If anyone can tell me differently, then please do. Ridvan, this is the first time, Chris, that I think he's been Rangers' first choice left back, undisputed. I think if you're the game, 99% of supporters at the moment would think that Ridvan is going to be the one who starts. But again, Rangers need competition in that area. We've seen Ridvan has not always been able to play consistent games throughout his time at the club. Barisic is a different type of player. He's not going to dribble through a team like Ridvan is, but with that dynamic on the left, Matondo moving inside and Barisic overlapping, hopefully that will work well, and an opportunity for him today to get some minutes, I guess, in his legs, because he's going to be needed between now and the end of the season, even if it's been a quiet month since that assist in the League Cup final.
Well, because as you mentioned there, Josh, one of the main downsides, if you like, of Ridvan is, can he be robust enough to churn out the games? You look at Tavlin on the other side, look at someone like Golds, look at someone like Lundstrom, Dessers to an extent as well. These guys put a lot of game time, put a lot of match minutes in. Ridvan, we're still to see if he can actually do that on a consistent enough basis. So when you do get an afternoon like today, where it's not going to make a break, if Rangers don't get the result today, it's not going to be because Ridvan's not playing. If they go on and win 4-0, it's not going to be because Ridvan has been playing. So I think it's an afternoon. It makes sense to give Barisic a game. Come Tuesday night, I'd be surprised if Yilmaz isn't the one that comes back in. And as you say, I think he now is definitely the first choice in that position. And all credit to him, because he has been in an excellent run of form recently. There's a lot of talk about him over the course of the transfer window. It looked like he was hitting form just at the time that Rangers looked to sell him. That's also not the case. Manager was keen to hold on to him. It's a big show of faith from the manager, a big show of faith from the club in him. Hopefully he can continue to repay it. But I said today was never going to be a make or break afternoon for him. So I think it makes a lot of sense not to have him in the side, keep him for some of the challenges that are coming up over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I'd fully expect him to start against Aberdeen on Tuesday night. In the middle, Leon Balogun had a really good game up against Joel Nouble, who hasn't had a great season, but he's, I think, a very capable player on his day, a player who could cause Rangers issues. So maybe not too surprised. I thought Suter might stay in there because, again, he's been in good form and he drives out with the ball better than any centre-back. And I think in a game like today, that might be necessary, but it's Balogun who is chosen there. The midfield, Lundstram and Jack, we've not seen that in a while. It's not always the midfield that has been the most exciting domestically, shall we say. But I mean, Lundstram, 2 fantastic assists in recent games, playing some of the best football, certainly domestically, of his Rangers career to date. And Ryan Jack, Rangers will need depth in that position. Diomandé's come in. You've got Sterling, who isn't in the squad, and that's something that I'm sure will be put to the manager in the press conference after. Hope there's no injury there, and it's just a case of rotating him out. A midfield you trust to control the game, Chris. It's just about making sure that Rangers have the creative passers, I guess, in front of the Livingston backline, because I think at times under Clement, understandably, that the Rangers have been reliant on space behind the opposition defence, and depending on how high or deep Livingston sit today, there is going to be that task to try and play through them, break them down, as this squad is, faced routinely, and we've watched routinely over the last number of years.
I think one of the main points from that midfield too is something we discussed after the St Mirren game last week. We mentioned early on Lundstram being head up, being forward, and his outlook. Obviously, he got the assist for the goal, got the assist at Easter Road as well. That's something I think we need to see more from John Lundstram. If he can add that to his game on a more regular basis, it just brings a very different dynamic to that midfield.
It's been noticeable, hasn't it? Because it feels like, again, a quicker pace maybe suits his style a little bit more. But the one against St Mirren, it feels like there's more runs in behind under Clement, and that slightly more direct approach has helped players like Dessers as well. But I guess the question is, how does that correlate today when there probably isn't going to be much space behind the defence?
There might be very, very little behind the defence. I think it should be like be one of those afternoons, but it does then put the onus on Rangers attacking players. Obviously, McCausland can't be Matondo in there. A lot of pressure on them to be creative, to try and score if they can. Silva, I think, it's a big afternoon for him. We really need to see what he's like in terms of getting shots away. If he get a goal, that would be great, just to get him off and running. I think a lot of people will maybe have gone with Dessers today, and that probably says quite a lot about his transformation. But I think, again, if you look at the bench, you've got Dessers there, got Lawrence, got Scott Wright. Cortez is also the main man on the bench. Now, Cortez is what everybody's looking for to make an impact. So hopefully the game goes to plan, and we can see Cortez
get some minutes. Yeah, so
we can see him get off and running.
For context, Diomandé played his last game in November, I think it was.
Late on the 29th or so, I think.
Whereas
said yesterday.
Cortez has trained more and been more involved as of late, hence why he's on the bench. Let's talk about Fabio Silva, Chris. It feels like there's going to be a lot of attention on him today. This number 9 discussion, Clement spoke about it yesterday, and I thought he made some good points. I think it's going to be important in this type of game to move the defence. Silva will maybe move towards the ball. We still need to see him getting shots off. We need to see McCausland and Matondo running into the spaces that he vacates. There's going to be a lot of attention on him today, but he needs a chance. We've not seen him yet. That's the thing. He needs a chance as a number 9 to show what he can do more than 60 minutes away at Hibs. And maybe Clement just feels his style will suit a packed defence a little bit more to try and bring the centre-backs out, drop in and create space for others to run into.
It's a very Rangers fan thing to do sometimes, writing guys off 3-4 games into their careers. Silva clearly is a talented player. He wouldn't have played for the clubs that he has, wouldn't have gone for the money that he has over the course of his career if he didn't have something about him. Rangers haven't really seen that so far, but
it's 16 goals on loan last season, so it's not as if
it's not as if he's never scored a goal in his life.
Listen, I think the whole topic, as we've spoken a lot about this topic in the last 2 days alone. Do Rangers have enough goals? I don't know. I don't think you can say with confidence that they do. Do they look slightly short in forward areas? Maybe. Are they is Clement and Coppin starting from a difficult spot because of how bad the squad building has been over a number of years?
Definitely.
Yes. When you look at the fact that Rangers have on their books Lammers, Dessers, Roof, there's all three strikers who are on a lot of money. I know Lammers is out on loan, but on a lot of money under 27, 28. Or no, Dessers 29, Lammers is 26, I think, and Roof's 30, 31. You've got Danilo there as well. There's definitely a balance to be struck there, and Silva is a player that Clement wanted. Now is the chance and the time for him to see it. The benefit is he's been in the building for over a month, so the pressure will be on him to deliver quickly. Cortez on the bench, Chris, just as we wrap up, expect to see him come on.
Hope so.
All going well?
You'd like to think so. He's someone who almost a bit of a downer when that was announced on deadline day, which I think is really unfair on him, because people obviously a lot of talk about another striker, and people wanted one more. It dragged out in terms of his announcement, that maybe took some of the sting out of it. But I think that's unfair, because you look at his profile, you look at we've also done a lot of work trying to figure out when he's going to play, how he's going to play, doing a bit of work on his backstory. There's a lot there to be encouraged about, a lot there to like, and a lot there to think that this boy could be a really exciting player for Rangers. He ticks a lot of boxes. We also have to see it. We need to see how he's going to adapt. I know the manager spoke to you at the press conference about that yesterday in terms of coming into a new city, a new club, a new changing room. There's a lot of factors there for Cortez. I think it's important that he gets match minutes as early as possible. So hopefully the game lends itself to it. If he can get 20 minutes, if he can even get an assist and a goal, what a brilliant start to life that is then for him. So hopefully he can get off to a really good start. And then you've also got Diamandi to feed in over the current weeks as well. And then time will tell if the January recruitment has been good enough or not.
Time will tell. Right, enjoy the game wherever you're watching it, folks. Remember, you can keep up to date with us on socials. We'll have your instant analysis, reaction from the game, full press conference coverage. Chris and I will be back sometime after the press conference on here to break down the game in more detail, and that's before we start thinking about the next week. If you've not subscribed to the Rangers Review or joined our YouTube members channel, loads and loads of content for you to enjoy on both of those sites. But until then, enjoy the game wherever you're watching it. We'll speak to you after. Bye for now.